Just as tennis fans started catching their breath from one of the sport's most controversial stories in recent years, Jannik Sinner, the current world number 1, two-time Grand Slam champion in 2025, and the golden boy of the ATP Tour, reignited the fire and sent ripples through the tennis world once again. It boils down to a single decision, a decision that will make fans question the principles of sport, reopen old wounds, and cause outrage among many. This decision is to rehire the man who was at the center of his doping scandal, Umberto Ferrara. And just in case anyone thought the world would miss this, people like Nick Kyrgios made sure that no one forgets. He got the same doc back. We have been played, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over everything that happened, why it is controversial, and whether skeptics like Kyrgios might actually be on the right track. Did Jannik Sinner just undo months of tiptoeing and damage control? Or is this the decision that will help him establish his legacy as one of the greatest tennis players today? So, back to March 2024, Indian Wells. Jannik Sinner is a prominent newcomer to the grand tennis stage, but not quite the force that he is today. Instead of winning courts and hearts, however, he ended up testing positive for prohibited substances. Twice. Both tests ended up positive for clostebol, an anabolic steroid banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Tennis enthusiasts around the world were dazed. After all, Sinner was a clean-cut sportsman. How did the humble Italian find himself gripped in a doping scandal? The investigation had shown that it all began with a single cut. The small wound wasn't even on Sinner, but on Giacomo Naldi, his physiotherapist. Naldi was treating himself with trophadyrmin, an over-the-counter medical product that contained clostebol. Coincidentally, he frequently massaged Sinner during the tournament without gloves, which the International Tennis Integrity Agency decided was the most likely source of the anabolic steroid in Sinner's body. But who gave him the spray? None other than Umberto Ferrara, a fitness coach and pharmaceutical expert who most definitely knew about the banned substance, gave Naldi the spray to treat his cut. Yes, the man responsible for making sure that Sinner's physical condition was top-notch and adhered to regulatory compliance handed his therapist a substance that would end up suspending Sinner from professional tennis for 3 months. Consequences came immediately. Both Naldi and Ferrara were fired on the spot. Furthermore, Sinner made a statement in which he said he could no longer continue with the pair after the mistake. After a settlement with WADA and the ITIA, Sinner got away much more lightly than expected. Fast forward less than a year, and Ferrara is back with Sinner. And that's where the explosion of controversy goes all over again. People like Nick Kyrgios ensured that the story does not slip under the radar. Less than an hour after Sinner announced his problematic decision, Kyrgios took to social media. He got the same doc back. We have been played, ladies and gentlemen. The post has gone viral. Yui. We have been played became trending. Fans split, sparking heated debates in the comments. The pro-decision camp accused Kyrgios of causing unnecessary chaos. Others stood behind him and called him one of the few who explicitly said what many were thinking. And Kyrgios was never the one to hold back. He was a vocal critic from the beginning of Sinner's doping scandal. He even posted an asterisk when Alcaraz beat Sinner at the French Open, a tongue-in-cheek jab at what he saw as the hypocrisy of the ATP. So pretty much no one was surprised when Kyrgios exploded when Ferrara returned as Sinner's coach. However, the surprise came at the number of fans who agreed. But what about Giacomo Naldi? After all, he was the physiotherapist and the guy who exposed Sinner to the anabolic steroid. It was unintentional, but the intention did little to save him from the blame. This week he spoke to Repubblica, a prominent Italian news media. Here we go again. Now the nightmare begins again, like last summer. Not many words, but they carried weight. He didn't openly criticize Sinner. However, the subtext is clear and the feelings are visible. He felt betrayed. After all, he was the one who was cast aside last year, turned into the public scapegoat, and he now had to watch Ferrara, the man who gave him the spray, return to the world number 1's team, alone. One man rehired, the other left to deal with controversy. For many, this is not just about ethics. It is also about accountability. Okay, so what was the reasoning behind all this? Sinner's team issued a brief public statement. Umberto has played an important role in Jannik's development to date, and his return reflects a renewed focus on continuity and performance at the highest level. In other words, Ferrara helped Sinner win, and the team wants to continue the trend, regardless of controversy, which is hard to argue with. Under Ferrara's hand, Sinner's physical form reached unprecedented performance. Between 2022 and 2024, the Italian had gone from a promising youth to a major Grand Slam contender. Sinner's first major title, the 2024 Australian Open, had Ferrara's fingerprints all over. Even after the doping event, he worked with Matteo Berrettini and kept silent, until now. The 3-month ban did nothing to hinder Sinner. His performance is even more incredible than ever. The Roland Garros final, a victory at Wimbledon, and a solid chance of defending his US Open title to reach all 4 Slam finals in 1 calendar year. The pressure is massive, and Sinner needs all the support he can get. This surely inspired the decision to, despite everything, bring back the man who Sinner trusts the most. Ferrara's return comes in a period where Sinner's team is reshaping. After the French Open, Marco Panici and Ulises Badio were let go, allegedly due to the former members of Novak Djokovic's coaching staff leaking sensitive details from the locker room during Roland Garros. So yes, Sinner practically won Wimbledon without a fitness coach or physiotherapist. Now, after he rehired Ferrara, he aims to enter the US Open with a reduced setup. Only Simone Vagnozzi goes to New York with him as Darren Cahill is taking family time off. It's pretty dynamic. A comeback coach, an incoming slam. The number one has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. His reputation, his legacy, and possibly his standing with fans are all at stake. Let's address the elephant in the room. Ferrara never received any sanctions. Not by the ITIA, not by the WADA, despite being the initiator of the Clostebol case. There's no doubt about who gave Naldi the spray. His background in pharmaceuticals means he surely knew that the substance was banned, and he knew Naldi rarely worked with gloves. Best case scenario, negligence. Worst case scenario, many suspect something much worse. Public opinion about Ferrara's pharmaceutical expertise is quick to change. What was once a feature now became a red flag, and the tennis world hasn't forgotten. Not with many prominent names reminding everyone. The ex-doubles world number one, Paul McNamee, named the move one of the most astonishing PR decisions in tennis history. Social critic Pavi G didn't use soft words either. Sinner has been badly advised. I think this is their worst decision yet. It really does make a mockery of the ITIA and WADA. So what is behind the move? A sign of trust or a calculated decision? Has Sinner honestly forgiven Ferrara? Or is he ready to trample over principles for a boosted performance and a better shot at legacy? When asked about the controversy, he shrugged it away by saying, "I think people kind of have forgotten already a little bit what happened." He couldn't be more wrong, especially with people like Kyrgios to remind us. As the US Open looms, the spotlight is shining but also scorching. Every victory will be scrutinized, every treatment inspected, every decision judged. With the name comes the baggage, and everybody in the tennis world has heard about Sinner. Everyone will be watching. The entire event isn't really about one coach and one tennis star. It is about tennis itself and the culture of the sport. It is about principles, virtues, and second chances. About how quickly we forgive, how quickly we forget. Did Jannik Sinner just set a hazardous precedent, or is he just helping his career? It is pretty difficult to discern between redemption and relapse in the heat of the moment. However, history always tells them apart. The fans are left wondering, is it courage to make a bold decision? Is it carelessness that could permanently change the direction of the sport? Or, as Kyrgios put it, have we been played? What's your take? Is it a good call, a bad call, or an ugly maneuver? Drop your thoughts in the comments. One thing is certain, the tennis world won't be forgetting this anytime soon. Whether you see Sinner's decision as bold or reckless, it marks a pivotal moment not just in his career, but in how we view accountability at the highest level of sport. With the US Open around the corner, the pressure isn't just on his serve or forehand, it's on every move he makes on and off the court. Every point he wins will be measured not only in stats, but in trust. And while some believe the past should stay buried, others, like Kyrgios, are determined to dig it back up. So as the spotlight intensifies, the question remains, will Sinner rise above the noise, or will the echoes of controversy drown out his triumphs? Only time will tell. Until then, we'll be watching closely.